We're back, baby. Jets 55. Philly boy out there in Cali. Vinman out here in New Jersey. All via Brooklyn. That's why we talk like this. But I got to tell you, I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go. At the end of the game, we keep talking about Zach's fumble. You know what? They should have had the ball back with at least 5 minutes. My friends are saying you're bitter, BS, BS. I do not care. To the point those calls were so bad, the one where Jermaine Johnson is being like held and mugged, to the one with we all know about Sauce, which the flag was thrown 5 seconds after the play was over. The thing is, I feel it's so bad, Phil, that I would have taken all these referees, gotten their phones, right, commandeered their phones and their laptops to see if there was anything. Someone bet that game. I'm sorry. They had a 3-point lead. It was a 9-point underdog crap.
It's brutal. It's really brutal.
They want listen, betting in sports has become legalized. Everybody might think I'm crazy.
You remember Joe Namath with partners. He got in trouble years ago. If you had anything to do hanging out with gangsters and gambling in Vegas, now you got a team in Vegas. It's come on.
Right. And you got it's all out there. It's all fine now, okay? And and people still, are loathing Babe Ruth, Pete Rose. I'm sorry, Pete Rose. But here's the thing: it was a 9-point spread.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. 9-point spread. This bullshit comes on, and these referees are known to call the most holding calls. So how Jermaine Johnson is held for 10 seconds? It wasn't like one of those reflex where he held them at the last second. It just and people are like, well, you're bitter. You know what? Let's go back to the Cowboy game. All right. It's at that time, it's 10-7 Cowboys, 3-4 minutes to go in the half. Okay. They're outplaying the Jets, but it's only 10-7. And you know what? The Jets stop them on third down. The Jets are going to get the ball back. And they call it on what's his name? Myers for roughing the passer. He didn't rough the passer. The league the next day or two apologized to the Jets that it wasn't roughing the passer. They went down, they got a touchdown, 2-point conversion. The Jets went down, got a field goal. It was 18-10. You know what? Who knows if we go back down and it's 14-10 us into the half. So it means something. To me, it means something. Okay, so again, you know what an apology and a nickel gets you? It gets you a nickel. Okay, it's all BS. And now they do this to the Jets. I'm sorry. Listen, the Jets would have gotten the ball with 5 minutes to go, because if they do the first call, then it's 3rd and 32. You think they might be able to stop that. Okay, if they stop it, they get the ball back. Listen, 5 minutes, a lot of football. Who knows? They might have been 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? They might have been 3 and out. KC gets the ball back. Maybe the Jets score. KC gets the ball back in 2 minutes. Maybe they score. There's a lot of football in 5 minutes. But the referees effed it. And I believe in his betting stuff. I'm sorry. They were probably upset when he fell down at the 1-yard line. I wish we could have had the cameras on some of these referees and see the reactions. And that's how I feel.
Here's the thing. I think you're dead on almost all of it. And I'm not going to say you're wrong on any of it. The question is, the fix is in, right? Question mark, right? So I hear you loud and clear. It's an age-old thing when it comes to sports, because you're right. A lot of money is made and lost with a couple of points here and there. So let's talk about that, okay? Forget about the spread, because you're right. That affected it. But think of it this way, all right? And by the way, this ref is a rookie. Frank Steratore. Gene Steratore, the guy that retired?
Yeah. And why do they have rookies on prime time?
He's a rookie. And you're right. This team is known for throwing a lot of flags. So this kid, this guy, whatever, he threw the flag. So we've been talking about this for a few days now, right? So you're right. If he threw the flag, and think of it this way, forget about that it's fixed for a minute. Okay, you might be right. But I'm just saying, think about the nonsense of it for a minute.
Yeah.
This guy decided all day long, all game long, that bump in was okay. Didn't throw one freaking flag, right? No, not one fucking flag, right? Didn't happen. Not one. This one, because at the end, it affected the outcome with the pick. He decided after the pick, well, shit, I got to call this one, and he throws the flag. All right. Now, for a minute, it's still ridiculous. You throw the flag if you're going to throw flags when you see the penalty.
Right there
But
and
think
then.
about this. Here's my point here. If he decided it was going to affect the outcome of the game and he decided to throw the flag for the pick, then how the hell did he not call the penalty on the hold? Because that also scampered 30 yards down, like you just said, for Mahomes. You can't not call it once and call it on the other.
Well,
It's so late in the game. If you think it's going to affect the outcome of the game, so you're going to call it now, then you have to call both, or you don't call either.
Well,
so that's it. So forgetting what I'm getting at is, aside from, I know I'm annoying, aside from the gambling, which I'm not saying you're wrong, right? I'm not. But if he's a rookie, they decided that I got to call this penalty because it was a pick. It's bad. Then why didn't you call the penalty when it was a clear hold a few seconds after?
Because, and that kind of gives you a little bit of proof. One thing, both things kept
that play was after, right?
Both
the run?
the
That was
hold
after that,
first.
right?
The hold was first. Both things kept Mahomes on the field.
Right.
When it was 3rd and 22, and that guy was holding Jermaine Johnson so clearly.
That was first, right? That was before.
The first, it was 3rd and 22, and
Right.
he was holding him.
So they did not call that one when it definitely had an outcome. Right.
So the whole thing is, they didn't call that one because it keeps Mahomes on the field. Why do they didn't call that one? Because then it gives the first time, keeps Mahomes on the field. They don't want 3rd and 32. And the second one, they call that one to keep Mahomes on the field. And
yes.
I feel like they kept him there to get hopefully to get the touchdown, to get the spread. I think there was betting. I will feel that until the end of time.
And you can have that you can't. No one could tell you you're wrong in thinking that. I get it. I'm just saying, in the moment, these referees, they're human beings. They make mistakes and they make split-second calls. You got to be consistent. That's all I'm saying. Forget about the money for a minute. You cannot call one and not the other. If it's because of a conspiracy, shame on them. Shame on the NFL.
That's what
because
makes me
it's bullshit, because people's jobs are on the line. It's wrong. Now think about it.
And that's what makes me feel like it was more involved with betting. When you do not call a guy holding a jet for 10 seconds, holding him for 10 seconds, you don't call it, well, that's suspicious.
Let me ask you a question, Vin.
Then wait, let me just,
which of these two penalties was more flagrant?
I would say the first one, if I had to be upset about which one, the first one was obviously more flagrant than what Sauce didn't do.
So right. So if you don't call that, there's no way you call the second.
That's the thing that brings me to my point. And there's no way you throw a flag. How do you throw a flag? Sauce is going down the field with the guy. There's grappling. Okay. So that's the time where he would be calling a hold. There's no flag. Sauce is still running with the guy. Now they're not grappling. No flag. Now the ball is thrown. No flag. Carter intercepts it. No flag. Carter gets tackled. And then the play is over. And then a flag comes in.
Right.
How the league doesn't, how you don't look. I know they want to hide bad stuff. And I would have loved.
What I'm thinking is, if the kid, if whoever didn't call the holding penalty should have overrode the defensive holding, because it might not have been the same guy that didn't call. Like if it wasn't this guy's call, Steratore, right? Steratore.
Yeah.
If it wasn't his call to make on the hold, who knows? He might have called the hold because it's affecting the game. But maybe the guy that didn't call it, if he was the judge making the call on the other one, he wouldn't have called it either. But they should have got together and he should have overrode it, because this is a fucking rookie.
And you know what's really what's very suspicious to me is that up until that part of the game, the refs They were calling some holds on KC. There was something that was advantageous for the Jets. Was it a safety? Was it not a safety? People thought it wasn't a safety, but this is not the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? So,
Sorry about that. Yeah. No, you're right. But think
the
about
thing
what
is,
yeah.
that thing with the safety, okay, then the horse collar that really wasn't a horse collar, that call went for the Jets. So a few calls went here and there. They called some holding on KC, but all of a sudden, with 5 minutes to go after that fumble, it looked like everything was done to keep Mahomes on the field to try to get that touchdown for
And
that
that
spread.
drive was life-changing for the Jets if they would have been able to take that and run down the field and win the game. Would have
It
been
was third, the first one,
life-changing,
the first,
earth-shattering.
right, it was 3rd and 22. He runs down the field, heartbreaking, but there was a clear hold, which would have made it 3rd and 32. Then the other one with Sauce was 3rd and 20. It was 3rd and 20. And I mean, triple coverage, that guy's not even a good receiver. Nothing's happening down there. It's repugnant, it's disgusting, and I will always believe,
Hey,
and
buddy,
the league will
I don't disagree with you. I
uh,
don't disagree at all. The only thing about this that bugs me beyond that for a minute is that whoever ran the crew needs to speak about it. Someone should talk about it. They should say, geez, we missed that hold. Or say it wasn't a hold. Or say Sauce's was a hold. Like come clean and tell us what you think. But now it's just all speculation. But think about this. The day after the game, excuse me, an NFL, I think it was a YouTube site, they put something up on their site that said, Taylor Swift 2-0 with the Chiefs, right? 2-0. I have nothing against her. That's fine. But they took it right down because they realized that it showed that there might have been some happiness that they got what they wanted, like you said, which was maybe she'll go 3-0. Maybe we'll do another one, whatever. So the storyline, which was just a short time ago, Aaron Rodgers, Hard Knocks, and all of that, was Taylor Swift. But the Jets ruined that party, man. Should be very proud of that team because to get to the game and to what they did, and we can talk about that in a minute, it was a shock to the world. People that are football fans expected a 41-3 blowout. And guess what? They escaped with their lives and they should have lost the Chiefs.
Well, and I will tell you this, I've been watching, we Jets 55, but now it's 56 years watching Jet games. I've never turned off a Jet game early on. No. I'm not talking about if it's,
the Heidi game,
I'll name it in his late career with the Jets, and they had some bad teams, and he could barely move. And if the Jets were losing 49-0 at the end of the third quarter, I'm not watching the fourth quarter.
No.
That was the first time when it was 17-0. I came so close because I was so disgusted with, like I said, nothing against her, but it's what the TV does. It's just constant and Kelsey and kind of over and over and over. It's not like you see here or there. No, it's like a constant thing. And then they're killing us and everything. And we look totally inept. And then, that's probably the closest I came to turning off that TV.
Yeah. You think about if it was another team playing that night, like the Dolphins or the Patriots or the Giants, we would have been laughing. It'd be fine. So it's us because it was our house. But let me tell you, the Jet fans represented beautifully. All those, Swifties, whatever they are, and the Chief fans, they were there, but there was still a hardcore Jet crowd. And they knew what was going on. They felt it, they smelt it, and it was exciting. And despite all of that other stuff, think about it. This game was the second highest rated Sunday sporting event since the Super Bowl. So that's how big a deal it was. And we didn't get the upset, but the takeaway, the kid can play. Zach Wilson was great. Who needs Aaron Rodgers? And that's all great, but it also showed that defense. It showed solid, like he was going to kill the guy, and they threw a penalty, the fight in Salem, fighting for his guys, fighting for his life. If they ever whack this guy, Woody or Chris, I'm done. There's no this guy. This guy is the first coach ever that they have that has to stay, has to get re-upped in contracts until they win a Super Bowl. Because this guy has created a culture where they don't put up with this. And they came out after a rough game with the Patriots, a ridiculous game, and they kicked ass. They almost beat the champs. You play the Patriots again, you know.
Well, it goes back again to that Cowboy game. And even in the second half, he threw that pass that the guy just tipped with his hand. That would have been a TD to Garrett Wilson. If you don't make a bad call and the league is apologizing, and I said, again, how many times are they going to apologize? Or say how many times they effed up for the Jets? But maybe the Jets win to beat the Cowboys, or maybe they play really a competitive game against the Cowboys and Zach feels good. Maybe that changes the Pats game. I know maybe that changes the Pats game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that changes that whole dynamic.
Listen, Ben, you and I have been doing this
the bottom line is this. Okay, getting past all of it. Of course, it really I did this legalized betting, and like I still crack up. I got to see what the league. I really want to see what baseball does about Pete Rose now. Yeah, it wasn't legal then, but now we got legal. Yeah, everything's beautiful, Whereas you got plenty of baseball and players that are out there that are drug addicts, and you got these people. You got these problematic. I'm not saying everybody, obviously, but they get to still play and they get to be out there and they get to coach and but no one,
violence guys, yeah.
I mean, come on, you hear about it, sad, horrible, but they're still out there. They're not being denied their jobs. So whatever. But it just, legalized gambling in sports. You're going to see, well, I don't care, hockey, basketball, football, baseball. It's going to change some dynamics. How many people were furious that Holmes, slid, which was a smart thing to do because it was still $120. And you don't know. He's smart. That was a football play because if he scores, 99% chance they're not going to Jets. But who knows? The Jets throw a bomb, get a TD and an onside kick. Who the hell knows,
That last sequence, so much went wrong. So much could have been different. And it started with the hold. So all I can tell you, it started with his fumble, too.
Started with the non-call on that first hold.
That's what I'm saying. And it also happened when he failed to catch the snap, but he owned that. The kid is like night and day all of a sudden. We beat the hell out of him. You walks like a dog, and I get it. We destroyed him. Me too. I couldn't stand it. This guy understands that everyone's piling on, and this was the first time that he showed, I've arrived. I'm okay.
Well, listen,
we got it to Denver. But do it again.
But no matter what happens, and we hope it's going to stay positive, at least now you can probably understand what Salah and JD and some of the scouts show, because there's two things about this kid that are really great. One, his mental fortitude is beyond me for what the verbal blasting that this kid took. His mental fortitude is...
it doesn't let it seek in. Yeah, seek
really in. Is. You can say it, but now you can really see it. Everybody's saying he just doesn't, he stays focused. And the other thing is, no matter what, and I hope he has success, the kid has a howitzer for an arm. But no matter where he's throwing it, no matter how he's throwing it, from whatever angle, and he just has a howitzer for an arm. And that's what they were obsessed with when they saw him at BYU. And that's what they were hoping to see, probably a year too late. But really, the bottom line, going to Denver, we're gonna see what kind of Jet season they're gonna have.
And the defense should make Russell Wilson pay. They should defensive scores. They really got to do a good job. Now, when you talk about Zach Wilson, and we talked about this, for me, that's why I was hot. And I talked about this even earlier with you. That's why I didn't want him as a number 2 pick. It doesn't mean he sucks, but he played in a nowhere program that he needed to develop. And I didn't want a number 2 pick for a development project. So now that's what they did. You know, they could have traded down and maybe got somebody else and beefed up the line and whatever, you know. The line, you know, look at the line now, they're figuring it out. And he had all the protection in the world. All of a sudden, the guy can throw. So you gave him time. You gave him protection. He didn't run out of the pocket like an idiot all the time. So it starts with the line, and the line did a good job protecting him. And
They did.
they opened up a hole for Brees that Brees feels he owes the team because he should have taken that one to the house. So
Yeah, he should have.
it
By the
is
way, on that run,
close.
he
Yeah,
should have
it
went
is
right.
close to dominance.
Yeah, he should have went right, and Conklin would have blocked the guy, and he went left. He probably
So-
realized.
The reason I bring this up is that he now maybe is hitting that moment in time because Aaron Rodgers accelerated it. He came in, the little bro, big bro. Aaron Rodgers says he talks to him every day, every day. So he's like his psychiatrist. He's telling him what to do. Remember in Hard Knocks, he said, you go side to side, bing, bing, get rid of it. You know, don't hold it. You know, so he's teaching him today. He's got this Hall of Famer who knows what to do, and it's his system there. It's his guy, Lazard there. Who did he throw a touchdown to? Lazard, right? Randall Cobb will be next. If he can turn this kid into a version of him, but with his own obvious input for a while until he comes back, they could do okay. You know?
He has great mobility. He's great on the run, not just running out of the pocket, being run after, but when the play is directed for him to run out, he's unbelievable, you know. And there was a couple of drop passes. I mean, let's be frank, Conklin. I mean, come on, man. You got it. To me, you got to catch that. It was a foot and a half off the ground. It was a foot and a half. It wasn't hitting the turf, that ball. Your hands are right there, Conklin. You got to catch that ball.
Dude, he catches that, and Mosley takes it to the house. We win 34-20. Come on, 23, whatever. So,
but the thing is, it's let's see. Listen, he made a great point, Zach, where he said him and Hackett
yep,
are finally
just
getting
going to say this. Yep.
because the last 4 months have all been made for Rodgers. Quarterbacks are all different. So a guy like Hackett, he looks at the strengths of Rodgers. So everything was geared toward Rodgers. All the practices, every rep was geared toward
And
Rodgers.
the personnel, you know.
So Zach Wilson obviously knew the plays, but it wasn't geared toward his skill set. So now they're gearing things toward his skill set, and let's hope it continues. That's the bottom line, to see if this.
You're right. He said that. He said, "Well, Hack and I were starting to see things, and they had Gibson, you know, with that little razzle dazzle kind of stuff. So who knows? Maybe they'll, you know, do a flea flicker. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's coming.
And I like that they got Gibson involved. And this is things you never saw with the Jets before. When the Jets were down that much, they would never have the fortitude to come back. And that's why you love Saleh. That's why you love that coaching staff. They would never have the fortitude to come back the way they did. But I love that Gibson, that kid. He had that return. He won the game of Buffalo. But then a lot of times that happens, you never see the kid again. Start getting him involved, and he did. And he's really good. He's great at catching punts, by the way.
Yeah, he is. You know what I wish, Vinny? I wish that the defense would start as strong as it gets during the game. Because if they do, they're not going to lose many games anymore. Yeah. They did last week with the Patriots. They only gave up, freaking 13 points. You know, because 2 was a safety, right? So that wasn't on them. So, well, you gotta, if that kid played the way he played last week, and let's just put it to you this way. And we talk about Joe Namath. We love Joe Namath. You can't give him any shots in our eyes. And what does he do? I was wrong. The guy's it. He says, I'm a fan. I love the Jets. So guess what? The question, if you want to have for our listeners, is do we buy now on Zach?
I can tell you this.
Are we buying?
When he fumbled, and I felt bad for the kid, and you were upset because he was so eager to get that ball, and his eyes looked away, and whatever. I was excited for the defense, and it was happening until the refs fucked it up. I was excited for the ball to get back in his hands. I never felt like that way with him because
No,
I was
no.
excited to get the ball back. I wanted to see the kid get the
Can I ask you a
ball.
question? Who's the last quarterback you felt that way with? Can't
God,
tell you. Who? Fitzpatrick, Sam
probably
Darnold, Sanchez? Nobody.
me, probably Vinny Testaverde when they were,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
they
Maybe
were
you had a shot with him and,
all,
Keyshawn
all,
Johnson or something, Yeah.
ourselves bailed on them too soon. But
So,
yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
what the feeling was, oh man, get that ball back in Zach's hand. So finally, the last thing for me is, no one likes to be wrong. Human nature, we don't want to be wrong, and sometimes it takes a lot for
hey,
finally
you're never wrong. What are you talking about?
finally it takes I'm always wrong. It takes
Oh,
a lot for people to
all
finally
right.
admit they were wrong. But if I tell you, I would be the happiest person on earth because I was, if I was a betting man, I would have bet my house Zach will never be good. I would have bet my family's houses, all my relatives' houses, all my friend houses that this kid's not going to make it. So if I am wrong, I will be the happiest person on earth if I'm wrong about this kid.
You know what you said that you're right about with this kid? His head. Because he went from like, I don't know anybody anything, the defense, to now, yeah, it's my fault. He's completely, the light went off, and the light is Aaron Rodgers, the team, his family, whatever, they're telling him to own it. And all of a sudden, I'm sure if everybody says, "Oh, it's so hard in New York," it's like, try winning in New York. How great it is! Give me a break with that nonsense. You think fans in Kansas City and Philly are okay if your team loses all the time? Bullshit. No. So we just, the Jets think the Giants are in the same town. Their leadership isn't the same. They don't turn it over every 3 fucking years. So you give a team a chance to develop your guys. You develop your GM. Now we got the right leadership. We've been saying this is only their third season now, right? Together, right? So this game could be that watershed game where things become what we expect it to eventually become for the long term, for the new era. Maybe that was the beginning. So I'm buying on Zach. Watch him throw 4 picks and look like an idiot Sunday. Who knows, But he proved for that moment. And think about this. This last thing I'm going to say. Oh, the whole country's watching. Oh, the big moment. Oh, yeah, we always shit our pants and they fucking fail. They kicked ass with the whole country watching. They physically handled the champs with that defense, and they moved the ball with lightning efficiency with the offense. And except for a couple of, like you say, Conklin drops that touchdown, Mosley drops a pick. Last was it 2 weeks ago, Sauce dropped a pick 6. This defense is about ready to explode. Now you got Denver and then Philly at home, then the break. Just get one or both of these games. If you could somehow get both and go 3-3 with all this shit and you come out of it, and then you get the Giants, then you talk about winning 10 games again. You can.
Let me say this, the last thing is that she got 2 games until the break. We wanted 3-3, the worst case. But we kind of said 2-4 could still, 2-4, you still got 11 games left.
Expecting Aaron Rodgers to be the guy.
What I need is Dick Sunday not necessarily dictates the season. If they win, it does. But if they lose and somehow be an Eagles team that doesn't, I'm not saying this, they're good, doesn't look like the same Eagles team from last year. If somehow the next 2 weeks you get one win to that bye week and you're 2-4, things can happen. You feel like, we can still make some noise and get some consistency, because that's one thing we never, they gotta, and stack up wins.
What you're saying then is the last 11, if they win 8 and go 8-3, right? Then they're 10-7. 10-7 could be a wild card team. It could be,
It could be, it could be a big tax to go 8-3 if they win the next two games and they're 3-3, and then you go 7-4. That might get you to the dance. I don't know.
But see what's
But,
happening, Vin? The pit in your stomach with Owen Wilson, with Zach Wilson going out there over the last 2 years. It's like watching nothing. Oh, 3-and-out. Oh, 3-and-out. Oh, 3-and-out. You know, I mean, you watch another team do that. Oh, 3-and-out. I can't remember which game I was watching the other night. It must have been the Giants, 3-and-out. You know, oh, it just makes you sick. You know, and now all of a sudden, with that showing 2 touchdowns, the passer rating was like 130. Jesus, you know. So, you know,
almost 72%. And listen, and that that feeling that get Zach the ball back. I never thought in my life would ever have that feeling. Man, we got to get the ball back to Zach, even though he fumbled, but we got to get it back. And the defense did get it back. And like I said, the referees, probably because of betting and legal betting, took the game away, sucked it right out of them. But let's see, man.
I saw him today say that Brees, no pitch count anymore. He's good to go. This is the place he got hurt at last year. He didn't even care. It doesn't matter. But, you know.
Maybe he'll do something to help the team. We might need a little bit more Brees and a little less Cook. You know what I mean?
Well, Cook's got to prove it now, too, you know? Now you're going against, look, the Chiefs are top 5 defense, right? Top 10 defense. It's not a shit defense.
No.
And they did well. And their defense, the Jet defense, when it's humming, is now going to go against a not so great Denver offense. Yeah, you got to like their chances. But, you know, who wants to get that crazy too fast? We're too smart to understand, you know, to not understand that you can't expect them to win. We're going to go kick it. No, anything could happen, you know. But
week by week, and this could be a watershed moment.
Yeah.
Just think about it this way, and I know, God, we hope and we wish and we, you know, like I said, we've been doing this for rooting for these guys now for 56 years. But think of this too, and then this will be the last thing from me. Think of this.
I'm saying that it's okay.
By the way,
we haven't done this since I was at your house. You know, like, hey, we won the game.
Let's not forget about that missed field goal. The missed field goal, right? The missed field goal. Can't forget that. Sadly enough.
Yeah, doinkaroo. You know.
Right, but if they win in Denver after what they did against Kansas City, if they win in Denver, that crowd against the Eagles, I think it'll be more insane than the crowd we had at the Buffalo game to open the season with Rodgers, right, dude?
They're going to be so amped up. You're right.
We beat Denver.
Be so ready to roll, and it's going to be fun. But
we beat Denver, man. That game, that game 6 at home against the Eagles will be insane.
Nuts. I was saying before, the watershed moment, not only for the year, but for this regime, because we were saying before the season, this team has never been this good, never this much going for it, right? Linemen, receivers, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, they have yet to really do too much yet. Although Sauce is coming around and Garrett Wilson's looking good too, but they haven't really taken shape yet. They haven't begun to hum. I remember what was Ronnie Lott used to say, the first 6 games in the last, in the beginning, I always felt you really don't know what you got. So 6 games, we were thrown a tremendous curveball with what happened with Rodgers and Taylor Swift. No, but look, they played football, man. Now they lost, but it was fun to watch for a while. I mean, so, what could you say? If he's going to be the guy, go win.
Listen, Zach Attack, man. Here we go. Zach Attack. For those of you who watch our podcast, start telling some friends. Let them hear me say that I think it was the game, was rigged by the referees. And I really, truly believe that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And a lot of people, I told you, you're right. They took that little Swift 2-0 thing down, they're afraid that it looks like that. So
I didn't know about that. I would have loved to seen when I would have loved. I wish the cameras were on all the referees when Mahomes slid. I wonder if any of them were like, "Oh crap, I lost the bet." We'll see. Zach Attack. Let's take care of business in Denver. Do it for Hackett. We know it's going to be the Hackett ball. We know all about that, and
Yeah.
let's get it done. And let's make week 6 absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
we got a season. They say we've now got a season. That game saved the season, and the whole country saw it. So they're for real. Let's go do it. Get it done.
To give any meaning to that game, they got to win one of the next 2, at least one.
You got it. Absolutely. Yep. All right, guys. Well, remember, are you buying on Zach? I am. I think so. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, 2 words, Philly. I know, but we'll see.
I was wrong about that. I couldn't be happy, man. I would love to be wrong. One time in my life, I would love to be dead wrong, man.
Cool.
All right, bro. Jets
We'll
55.
we'll check in from outer space soon. Okay, man. All right.
All right, pal. Let's get him.
We'll get it.